We are back at the unit once again. We're standing right in front of the heater because this is warm. Right, so today we're not working on the Mustang. However, right up the door. Last time I was here, I painted the door and the rear quarter, interior panel, whatever you want to call it. I still don't know what to call it, to be honest. And to be honest, it's not too bad, but I think before I go home tonight, I'll give that another go over. But to be fair, it looks pretty good. Just a little bit there I can see, and when I was looking earlier, there's a bit up here as well that needs to be redone. So the interior of the Mustang is going quite well, to be fair. A lot better than I previously thought it would. I did want to, well, my plan today was to put the interior relatively back together to see what it would look like to get the seat, well, you can't really see it behind there, but to start doing the seat and just getting a rough idea what the whole thing's going to come together and be. That's not going to happen today. I've got to change the plan. I've had a better idea of what I am going to do today. So this is Theo's unit. You all know Theo. I imagine most of you are from here, from Theo's channel. He has done a lot for me. I mean, he doesn't charge me anything for keeping all my stuff here, and trust me, I have a lot of stuff here. Then two shelves over there, they're full of my kart stuff. Obviously I've got the kart in a million pieces, just scattered around everywhere. I've got the Mustang in the middle in a few pieces, and all that on the back there. To be fair, I did bring the benches, and that's helped with storage quite a lot. I've got another kart chassis there. I've got a table for when I move into my house eventually. He's put up with me quite a lot with my mess. I mean, down there is abysmal. Well, he inspires me to do a lot of things. I mean, if I didn't have access to this space, I wouldn't have bought this. I wouldn't have bought this car. I probably wouldn't have bought the extra chassis. I'll probably still be with that one in my garage, repairing that, where I used to do. And from that, I wouldn't have started this channel. So, yeah, I think I owe Theo something. I mean, this camera I'm using right now, when I said I want to start a channel, what should I look for in the camera? He gave me this one. So, yeah, I think I should do something for him. So, the E36. You recognise it from when we did that drift day a few months ago.
There he goes. Awesome. It's actually easier going one way rather than the other. We're just figuring that out. Look at that!
We've been talking about doing things to the car ever since that day. We haven't touched it since, to be honest. It's still got the leaky diff, even though I think that was something to do with the heat in there, opening up a gap. So it hasn't leaked since. Yeah, we wanted to do some bits to the suspension, the right rear dampers collapsed a little bit. I don't know if it's run out of gas in there. And in general, the car didn't really it didn't feel consistent. It didn't feel like we do the same thing every time and the car would do something else. So I'm convinced there's something wrong geometry-wise, or with the dampers as it's an old car, if it's not quite cambered up right, not towed up right. So I'm going to look into that for him. I mean, I can't pay for what I've done in money, really. I'll struggle to keep the bills of this place. But what I can do is help with things that I do know, and that is cars. that day at Santa Pod, I think that was in March, I think. That's nearly 9 months ago. When we did that day, we realised that the car wasn't doing... I'm not going to say it's not what we wanted to do, because we was still learning, but we didn't feel the car was consistent. So we were trying to do the same input every time, but the car wasn't really doing that. I mean, we still don't know anything about setup-wise. Different tyres have better or less grip or work better. Different profiles, different widths. So we don't quite know what we're doing with that. But from the get-go with this car, we have noticed something odd. So if you look at this corner here, this is the right rear. You can see the gap between the tyre and the fender is a lot less than the left rear. Get that out of the way. That is a massive difference in gap. So I think one of the main reasons of the car not being that responsive or doing its own thing is the rear shock absorber. With it being collapsed, I think the gas is definitely seeped out of it. Or I'm not sure if it's a gas or an oil one. Either way, it's not going to have the same amount of rebound and absorption. Can't say that. It's not going to do what it wants to do, and that'll make the car more bouncy on the rear. Also making it less predictable and not helping the weight transfer side to side. So we've always spoke about getting some cheap coilovers. So that's what I've done. Oh, the gearbox of Delilah's had a wee. Okay, so this is not everything I have. One thing has not arrived yet, which I'm gutted about because that will complete the whole thing really. But it's not really a bad thing, it's not really a big job because it is literally the last thing to go on. So in that respect, I'm not really bothered. It's not going to impact what I want to do today. So yes, let's start with this big box. Always start with the big things. So in a nutshell, that is basically it. We've got some new rear springs, new shock absorbers, some height adjustable platforms for the rear, and 2 main struts, again both adjustable for the front. To be fair, for £170, I can't complain about that. It actually feels really good. I mean, the threads feel a bit cheap and the way this moves, but other than that, I can't really fault this. This could work out alright. Now, I'm not sure if it's a problem as such with the chassis, but it's the thing that can happen with these. Once you've put new dampers on, a coilover, something harder than what is standard, these turrets, the damper turrets where it's bolted on obviously, they can crack along here. I don't know if that's because of just the general higher impacts you can take through there, because obviously hard suspension, it's going to go through the chassis more. It's not, the shock absorber is not going to absorb a lot of it. It's just going to go straight into the chassis. I've seen it a few times on the forums. I've done a lot of research into these cars, and it happens I think more when you start to take it on track days and just do general drifting events. So to help prevent that, because obviously it's not my car, I feel bad if I did something to it and I broke it, or we break it. So I have got some more. I've got some reinforcement plates. I believe these can be either welded in, or you can just have them as is. So obviously this is a front one, a genuine BMW part as well. So they obviously recognise there's a problem, but basically that just goes underneath, fully on the side, onto there, and that just helps spread the load rather than the points being there. It's all around the turret. So for now I'm just going to bolt these in and see how the car looks when it's on the floor. I want to do that today. And yeah, I feel it's going to be a slippery slope when we start to do this and when Theo sees what I've done, because you could do a lot of things to these. Geometry wise, you can change the rear toe links, the rear camber links. You could do steering lock. There's a lower wishbone you can get. You can change all the bushings for the standard ones to a power flex or white line. So I think once we start doing this and Theo sees what I've done, it's going to be a slippery slope for this car. It's going to get a lot of things done to it quite quickly. So I have a pair of them for the front and a pair for the rear. The same thing. The rears can crack, and that'll just help spread the load a bit more. And the last pieces I've got today, which I think any wannabe drifter needs, is adjustable camber plates. Oh, they look quite good in the light as well. I'm not seeing them in the light. I took these out of the bag the other day, or this one, but I never. That was quite good actually. But this basically just sits in here. I think this might be this side. Yep. That goes from underneath. Sandwiches it'll sandwich the plate, and then the shock absorber will just bolt into the middle. So that's basically it. A lot of pieces to go on, so I better get cracking. that put up a bit of a fight to get out, but not as bad as I thought it would be for such an old car, to be honest. So the old one's out. I'm going to look at fitting. Oh, this is the wrong side. Oh, what are these for? These are just inserts for the bearing or the top. I don't know. But I'm going to look at making this fit. Now I need to bolt this onto here first before I can put the new damper into there. I think there might be interference fitting though with the camber nuts, or camber bolts. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, so, okay, so these don't really fit together, to be honest. I'm not sure if that's because this is designed without the extra reinforcement plate, but I am going to need to make some adjustments to get these to slide all the way. It shouldn't be too hard. I've got a Dremel with some carbide bits in my toolbox, so yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. But while I'm doing this one, I'll do both pairs, so I could just put it all back together ready. Okay, so I can't do that yet. I can't find the Dremel anywhere to make the slots, so I'll just adjust it now so it's in the middle and we can fit this all up and basically just do a pre-fit. Eventually we're going to have to take it all apart anyway to weld these plates in. So once we have to take this black, not anodizing, but a finish off so we can get to weld it nicely, we will do that at the same time. One corner fully done with the wheel back on it. Now, I'm not too sure, but it looks quite high to me. And well, the wheel's high in the arch. I'm not sure if it's to do with the standard droop of a road car damper, but I think this might be too low, to be honest. If you come with me, in that last clip I had to stop it halfway to disconnect the roll bar because I had to jack the corner up And that's how much difference the newer suspension is to the old one. But like I said, I don't know how much is lost in the standard droop of a standard damper. So, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to lower the car onto the floor again, just to see what it looks like with the weight of the car back on it. Yeah, this thing slammed, and I don't think it's not off the ramp. I need to go up the platform height quite a lot to get this to sit reasonably nice. So, yeah, compared to this corner to this, I think I'm going to need to collapse the helper spring all the way for it to sit nice like it is here. Okay, so what I want to do here, this is the main spring. That's what does your damping. This is just, well, what we call at work is the helper spring. This doesn't do anything. As soon as the car is lowered to the ground, that squashes. All that is to do is to keep, because of the long travel of the damper, all that's job is to do is to keep this all tensioned up so the spring doesn't drop down, and when you drop the car down, it doesn't end up in the wrong place. That is purely the job of the helper spring. So what I need to do is raise the platform height up quite a lot, to basically to the point where this is collapsed. Okay, so now you see that the helper spring is quite compressed. Again, that's not, when the car goes down, that's going to do nothing. That's just going to go completely squashed. It's just this spring that we need to worry about. So what this is going to do, this is going to raise the platform, the height of the. This is going to raise the car. I don't know, 30 mil there. Hopefully, that should see the arch, the wheel not sit so far into the arch, and the block down here actually hit the floor, because the car is on its own weight there. So what this does is, when it's down here, that just allows the damper to basically go all the way in. That was far too low. So what I've done there is made it so the damper can't go as far in. The spring doesn't go as far down here. So I'll put the wheel back on and we'll see what that's done. Okay, so I've smashed out the front. They're both done now. I set the platforms exactly the same, both sides, so it should be about right. When I load the car down, shouldn't be bottomed out on the lift. I started to do the rear. Now I've hit a bit of a roadblock. I've taken this bolt, didn't really need to. Apparently you just need to get a pry bar underneath there, in here, and that'll lift that up. Oh, pull that down and then you can get the spring out. I don't have a pry bar, and it's also a two-man job. So if I can find something to do it, will be okay. But it's just finding somebody else to come and do it. Now the only person I can think of is Theo, but I want to surprise him with this, so I'm in a bit of a catch-22. I also can't leave the car like this, because he will guess what's going on. So I don't know, my problem now is, should I get him over here and tell him what I've been doing, or shall I just leave it and chance it? Or shall I just leave it and see if he notices if he comes back during the week? So that's it, car all back together again. Now, the only thing left for me to do is to drop it down and see how it looks. Now, I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that because the car is significantly lower now. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it off the lift. So the front of the car is massively low. I mean, it does look pretty good, but the tyre wall to the fender is quite close. You can just, oh, don't want that. You can just get your fingers around there, but it's a bit of a squeeze. And to be honest, it looks a bit stupid like that. So the front needs to be raised up. I don't know how I'm going to do that because I think I'm all the way on the platform, and the springs are all. I think the front springs are compressed all the way, because if you push down, there's no movement in there at all. So the front needs looking at massively. I don't know what's wrong with that. Whether it needs a stiffer spring, I am not sure what to do with the front. I'm convinced the platform is high enough. Well, it clearly isn't really, is it? Because it's still on the deck. But if we get a spring that works, then the platform should be okay. So I'm not too worried about the front. Just need to find a solution for that. The rear looks quite good. You remember the left side of the car? The left side was quite high, and now it is about the same as the right hand side we started with the collapsed damper. So the rear looks quite good, to be fair. Just the front needs a bit more work. So next time I'm here, I'm going to surprise Theo with all this. I hope he doesn't twig what's happened, because I did say the Mustang's go to the lift, and that is clearly not moved at all. Still a big mess over there. But yeah, I hope he doesn't twig, find out what I've done. There's one more thing to come for the car, and I hope to install that before he sees it. And I hope he likes it. So it's a big thank you for everything he's done for me, and yeah, I hope, well, we're definitely going to enjoy it. Either way, we're going to enjoy what's happened today. It's going to be a world better than what it was, I think. So that's it for today. Obviously, I'm not going to upload it before Theo's seen it, because that'll give it all away. That'll be very stupid. That's it for today. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.